Hello, everybody. Before we, this is not part three. This is just like it's like a side to part two. It's like stuff I didn't fit in the part two because I just had like the beats I actually wanted to hit. But let me start by saying, even though Steven Universe has weird story pacing sometimes, you know, don't get this twisted. Me changing a few things in Steven Universe and my little version, um, me wanting to change things. It's just me thinking like, hey, like if I had Steven Universe and I put it apart and I combined it with my Team H universe, what would that be like? Trust me, I'm not one of those people that just pick out everything that's wrong with um with the with Steven Universe and the Crewniverse and saying the Crewniverse are bad people because blah 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 blah. And yeah, not all, and really, not all of the fan base is hateful. There's a good handful of people, yeah, and some people on Tumblr that are kind of assholes to certain people. But not everybody in the Steven Universe fandom is bad, and some people be making these Steven Universe videos, blaming the fandom first, like it's the fandom's fault that the freaking show is bad, and the show isn't bad. It just certain things could be tweaked and fixed, and I mean no ill will towards the Crewniverse. I think what they do. I think what they do when it comes to story and when it comes to characters, they do they do a pretty good job. My take is different because Steven's always trying to be all like pacifist with people who don't want to be pacifists. And if he had someone like H.E. always kind of looking out for him and always kind of teaching him like, yeah, you can be peaceful sometimes, but if if certain people don't want a peace, if they don't want peace and they want to fight you, you're gonna have to. They ain't no, they ain't no stop, they ain't no stopping. There is no, there ain't no stopping, and there's no getting around it. You just have to do what you have to do. You know, and yeah, so pretty much that's what my take is. Just Steven learning, yeah, you can be a pacifist, but not everybody's gonna want to, be friends with you just because you talk things out. And we kind of saw that in my little white diamond, my own little white diamond thing. But let's get to this mini because honestly, we got a lot of things I just didn't touch on. I'd say there'd be a fight between. I think there'd be a fight between H.E. and Jasper before she gets corrupted. Like he's like the one, like he fights Jasper without he actually takes on Jasper with no fucking without he takes on Jasper without any kind of weapon. It's just him and Jasper, and they go back and forth, and he's like, "You actually made me bleed. Now that people can do that anymore." And then he just kind of fights and then he sees an opening, and he lets Jasper have it. He's like, poof, and Jasper's like beaten by a human. He's like, why does everybody keep saying that? It's Chaos Lord. Chaos Lord. Chaos being because we're beings that are alongside humans, but we're kind of different. Sure, there are aspects about us that are the same, but but we're different for the love of God. Yeah, so, but mostly all the other fights with Jasper would be by and Stefani and by Amethyst. But there'd be one fight with AG and Jasper because he wants to test how strong he's become, and pretty much he's not as strong as Prime is, but he can hold his own. Um, Steven's dad basically, Greg sees AG as kind of a bad influence on Steven when he's like, where he basically goes, Greg, you gotta understand, your son is in the middle of a war between the between the diamonds, well, between white diamond and everything else. I gotta teach the kid how to fight. I know you're scared that he's gonna be hurt. I understand. I understand. Let's just say I know what being a dad is like. But you gotta understand something, Greg. You can't protect him. You can't protect him like I you can't protect him like I can. You can't teach him the stuff he needs to know. If he's gonna be a leader, he's gotta understand there's a time and place for pacifism and there's a time and place to be fighting. So I'm teaching him how to fight. And I know it sucks, but I gotta do what I gotta do. I would kinda say that Rose, like there was a letter that maybe and there'd be a little bit of a connection between AG and Rose, but nothing really romantic. He just said like it's like maybe he knew Rose a little bit, but and he hadn't heard from Rose slash Pink Diamond in a long time. And he's like, and she leaves him a letter like, when I go, I want you to teach Steven everything he needs to know about combat. I was never good at it, but you are, so whenever you're in Beat City, please teach him. That was something I really forgot, but that would be a reason why he's kind of in Beat City to begin with. So he teaches him how to fight. And that song, when Pearl is teaching Connie, which I didn't touch on either. Basically, that whole do it for her, you do it for him. But he basically like AG like I call it AG because if I say Bugsy, I'm Bugsy, and it makes it better for me, so I can easily distinguish different Bugsies. But AG, on the other hand, he basically looks at Pearl and he's like, you know, when he sees like Steven and Connie fighting together, she goes, "Let me do this for you, Rose." And he goes like, "Steven, Connie, I need to talk to freaking Pearl for this." And she kind of doesn't like AG for, well, one reason, because Rose never had a romantic thing with AG, but she was kind of like the one person he was like her closest friend, more close than she was with Pearl. So she does kind of have a little bit more of a hatred. She has a hatred for Greg, but it does not compare with the kind of hatred she has for AG. She's and then Pearl goes like, "You always wanted Rose to yourself." I never really saw Rose as a romantic partner. I saw her as more of a confidant. Confidant I could talk to every now and again, because we were both leaders fighting a war that we knew we couldn't win. You, on the other hand, Pearl, I understand. I understand. You have this unrequited love. You have this unrequited love for her. I understand that. and you're willing to die for her, but not everybody's willing to sacrifice themselves. If there's a way to if there's a way if there's a way to avoid it, so all parties can live. You're training Connie for the worst case scenario. And I'm not saying that isn't important, but if you drill it into her head that she's supposed to sacrifice herself, it's not really a good thing. And she's a little kid. I know you gems have no real concept of children, but she needs to learn. She should learn. I feel like you're not the only person that uses weapons. I'm a swordsman. I should teach her how to actually use that sword. Because you trained her for the worst case scenario, and I'm thinking that I should take over. And then Pearl kind of freaks out and says, like, you always do this. You always take things away from me. And then they just start to fight, and he's like, look, Pearl, I'm not here to fight with you. I'm just saying your teaching methods for this girl is not what she needs to use right now. You need to teach her the basics instead of just trying to train her for the worst case scenario. Not everybody needs to sacrifice themselves if they can avoid it. Yes, training them for the worst is best, but you need to train her how to fight. You need to train her how to hold her own instead of just worrying about the worst case scenario. That's the difference between me and you, Pearl. We Chaos Lords we Chaos Lords can adapt, change, outsmart, and outwit, and outplan. You, on the other hand, I understand what you have. I understand what you have, Rose. Trust me, I understand more than Steven and the rest of the Crystal Gems even know. Yeah, that's alluding to the fact that he kind of knew that Rose was pink diamond. But you have to let me teach that. You need to let me teach. You need to at least let me teach Connie how to really use the sword in the proper way. But Burr don't want to hear and keeps fighting, and he goes like, "All right, if I gotta poof you to make you see the error of your ways, then so be it." And basically they fight, and Bugsy poofs Pearl, and he holds her Pearl up. He goes, "Pearl, seriously, it didn't even have to be like this. You didn't have to do all this. You could have just let me help. For Christ's sake, you didn't let me help during. You didn't let me help during the war. You didn't let me help. You didn't even let me say goodbye to. You didn't let me say goodbye to one of my close friends because you were always thinking that I wanted to get Rose. I had no romantic feelings for her whatsoever. She was more like a sister to me than anything else. She was more like a sister to me than anything else in this world. But you, once again, always had to lash out because you had this selfish urge to prove to yourself that you had the selfish urge to prove to yourself that you were worth something to Rose. And yes, it is kind of selfish. She isn't here anymore. What are you even trying to fight me about? I miss her too. I miss her too, Pearl. You're not the only one. But unlike you, I don't freaking let it weigh me down. Sure, there's times where I cry about it. Sure, Rose was a friend. When you friend and when you friends with Bugs, when you friends with Argot, when you friends with Bugsy John Carl, you don't you don't tend to forget people. Look, when you come back, I want to talk to you in person. Okay? Because this needs to stop. This hatred you have for me, this jealousy you have for every other person who ever so much as talks to Rose, or Rose had an interest in, we need to freaking squash this. Sure, Rose chose Greg over you, but you ever think that she wasn't really into you and you were just fooling yourself? Yeah, you took. And he goes like, and I want to talk to I want to talk to most of the stuff I need to say in private when you come out when you rematerialize, okay? Because me and you need to talk. Greg also kind of has a well. Greg doesn't really hate Ichi that much. He just doesn't want to teach. Like Greg has more of a kind of concern out of Steven's well-being more than anything else. But he's like, look, Greg, I was a friend of Rose. I was a friend of Rose, and Rose told me in a letter that if she go, you know, time for her time for her leaving was imminent, and she wanted me to train. She wanted me to train. She wanted me to train your boy, and I'm doing this as a last. It's kind of a favor to her. I took this long because the Curse Gems were in taking care of him anyway. But now it's time for me to step in, and I promise you, Steven, under my training, nothing will ever have. No, Steven will never come to any harm. You have my word. You have my word as a former. You have my word as a former royal. You have my word. He bows to Greg. It's like, dude, you don't have to. You don't have to do that. I know, but seriously, this is just to prove to you that I'm not gonna just throw your kid out into throw your kid out into the lion's den. Steven and Eiichi's training is a little bit like Piccolo and Gohan's training, but most of the time, but Eiichi's mostly present for it, like teaching him how to fight, teaching him how to, because he is the one that actually, because, Steven knows how to use the shield, but Eiichi actually teaches him how to use that thing for, for offense and defense. He goes like, okay, Steven, you know how you can manifest your shield? Let me see if you can put some spikes on that. Okay. Now throw it at me as hard as you can. And Steven goes, what? You heard me, Steven. Throw it at me. I need to see how strong you've become. So come on, hit me. You're probably not even gonna hurt me. So he throws the disc. It kind of shreds. It shreds Eiichi's hand. He's like, okay, that's good. He heals up and he's like, that was good. Get ready. And now we're going to go. Now we're gonna go forwards. We're gonna go forwards to hit the diamond, which again, just something I needed to talk about because Sapphire and Ruby like do the whole splitting up part, and it gets kind of weird. So they all play baseball, and Aichi actually acts like an old sports announcer. Bottom 93, bases loaded, and here it comes. And here comes Bob. Just stuff like that. Everything kind of goes to where I mean, everything's pretty much the same. It's just I just kind of think it'd be funny if AG just talks like a goddamn old school baseball announcer. I don't know why. I don't know why. It just seems like something he'd do, and it just seems like something because everybody on the team's covered. So he's like, you know what? I'm gonna be a baseball announcer. I'm gonna be an old timey baseball announcer. The Rubies are kind of confused because he's talking about like products that are not even real. So he's like, "Hey kids, you welcome back to the baseball game under a word from our sponsors. Hello, folks. I'm Bugsy John Curl. You ever felt sore, achy, feeling like you need something to pick you up? Then try Bugsy Aid. It gives you all your necessary vitamins and makes you feel strong." And one of the rubies, I think Navy, goes up to him and she says, "Is that a real pro?" She goes like, "Is that a real product?" He's like, no. I am working on a prototype of it. Doesn't really taste well, but you know, just something I'm working on the side. It's just a little bit of banter between him and one of the rubies. Then now let's get to the point where uh, where Doc and Steven are in the bubble. Like everything happens the way it's supposed to. And he goes like, "Steven, what happened out there?" He goes like, I told Doc that I was, he calls her Doc, but he's like, I told Doc that I was Rose Quartz. Steven, you were in a bubble in space with your enemy. If you say you're Rose Quartz, logically they're going to want to attack you. Okay, Steven, you can't just be saying you're Rose Quartz because what? Because when you say that stuff, that means they're going after you. You need to think about these things. You could really put yourself in danger. Because what if we weren't there with the ship when we found you? You would have died of deep. You would have died of no air, and your eyeballs would have boiled out of your head. You need to think about. You need to think about these things. All right. You can't be this trusting, especially with an enemy that wants to get Rose Quartz. Okay? I ain't gonna what I am gonna have you do is a bunch of laps when we get back. Laps, yes, laps. Because that was a boneheaded move. And I think a little bit of remedial training will teach you not to do that again. And Garnet's like, you really Garnet's like to AG, you really are tough on him. I had to be Garnet because again, that was a very scary moment. We all thought he was going. I mean, we didn't find him. He could have died. And I don't know what would happen to him if he died, but still, I think it's better. I gotta be a little bit strict on him sometimes. Gotta learn because you can't be leader all because he's gonna have to take your place soon. You know that, and I know that. You're right. Garnet kind of Garnet's just like you're right, kind of just kind of acknowledging that. Now, then Love Like You starts to play after that. And yeah. Lars of the Stars, like Lars would have all these like really cool space adventures. Like think a little bit of Captain Harlock, but mixed with a little bit of Cowboy Bebop and a little bit of Outlaw Star. Like that's how I'd write those Lars episodes. Lars comes back to Earth eventually, but he kind of likes it better that he's out in space because he feels like everybody kind of left him behind. And even though he doesn't, and even though it's that's not really the case, he just feels better that he's in space, making a difference. But he does come back to see his folks and Sadie every now and again. And even Lars goes, and even Lars goes, did that? He's even Lars goes, did that HE guy get with Sadie? He's like, and because Steven goes in the lion's mane to go talk to Lars, like in the actual show. HE pops out. He's like, dude, do you really think I want to get with Sadie? Why does everybody think I want to get with everybody? Do I look like the kind of dude that just goes, you're gone, so I'm gonna go steal your girl? I don't do that, man. Jeez. Give me some credit. Yeah, you know. But, just little stuff like that. Blue Diamond and him have like this relationship, and he's just like Blue Diamond kind of understands a little bit more about humans and how they feel through HE, even though he's not directly human. The thing about Chaos Lords is that even though they got everything that makes them different, predominantly they are more human. They are human in a way. Even though Chaos Lords in the main timeline like to distance themselves from humans. And she's like, Your brothers came back after they died? He's like, yes, because okay, it's a little bit hard, but I think maybe I think God may have brought them back, or maybe some other force. Either way, they're back. And he kind of explains to Blue that even though Steven may have Pink Diamond's gem, he isn't Pink Diamond. See, since you guys have more of a sisterly kind of bond with Pink, you're more of Steven's aunt, really, more than anything else. And he explains what an aunt is, all this other stuff. Yellow kind of listens off in the background, in the back, because she hates Adri with a goddamn passion, and will never stop hating him either. So he's like, so yeah. So if you would, could you call him? Could you call what you think is What you think is Pink Diamond Steven? A part of him is pink, but it isn't in a way, and I know that's hard to really understand. I know, but he's he's basically her son. And he explains what his son is, and they go with that. And trust me, these explanations, even though I'm making them short, there's like a whole like thing I would have wrote out where he just kind of like explains what a son is. And you go, and then he goes like, "Well, Blue, I have a question for you. What made you decide that you wanted to be with me of all people?" And Blue goes, because you kind of have a great sadness that you overcame while I kind of didn't for a while. And even when we fought, you were super calm. Well, and he goes, well, I did have the mask at the time because And about the mask, what does it really do? Well, it's an amplifier of my powers, Blue. I use it. I use it because a Chaos Lord's power, if I let all of it out, would send major ripples through the universe. So the mask is like a great way for me to funnel my power in the right places. And she's like, "How did that song of yours go?" And he just puts on the mask for a minute. He plays the mask theme song. I don't know. It's just kind of like when he puts it on, he kind of feels compelled to do the theme song, but he doesn't really have to. It's just something he kind of likes doing, which I think is a good touch because in the main timeline, you know Prime does have the mask, but he doesn't use it. I'm sorry about the dogs barking. It's just something that happens. But he puts it on. He puts the mask on like so, and got you with my winning smile. I'm a living lesson in fair You just can't help but stare myself up there. I'm Luca, Gecko, Roma, Greco, Bacoco, Barocco, Bebop, and Hip Hop, and Flip Flop. Somebody stop me. Red hair, but red hand, faces like mine. No come a dime a dozen. I sit on the crowd. Babe, when they made me, yeah, they broke the mold. Those mankind stayed refined. Told me out of my mind. Arch villains and Ned Wells. Murder to decorate prison cells. Green goes with anything and they act. See? There's one last thing I gotta sing about. Open up wide and really shout. Oh, look out. This is the mask. Actually, there's a funny story with the mask that I'll probably get into like part three before we get into the main event of part three. Um, but yeah, but I'll confirm this much about it because I'll go into it when part three kind of starts. Um, he did get it from Stanley Ipkiss, who actually gave him the mask because Stanley said he didn't need it anymore, and that was back when the big three before Ansakamaru and Hard died. They were in Edge City, so they were like, so he pretty much gave it to him because he's like, Stanley, you can take it off. I'll take it off your hands, I'll take it off your hands, man. You don't have to keep wearing it if you don't want to. I mean, most of your villains are gone. So I can take it. So yeah. So yeah. Did a little something about the mask. But back to the actual video. So Steven so Blue goes, wow, you're really fascinating. It's like, well, yeah, I kinda am. And you can actually control the mask. The mask, well, the mask is wackiness, but it doesn't overtake him. But while he does have the mask on, he does kind of impulsively kisses Blue, and he's like, Blue, you are a very, very fascinating diamond yourself. I find you. He goes like, I find you utterly. And he starts talking in a French accent because he has the mask on, so fuck, he's gonna do it. I find you utterly intoxicating, you know, you know, and I've wanted to do this for a while now. He gets there and takes the mask off. And he's like, yeah, that's how I actually feel. The mask takes away my inhibitions. I'm pretty much uninhibited. And she says she's kind of flustered and shy voice. You're really, you're really something. And Yellow just kind of almost comes up and he's like, Yellow, I know you're there. Could you not? Could we not? For once. Jeez, I know you hate me. But come on. But, you know that solo episode I was talking about with Yellow? I was thinking, nah, that episode would technically have, Ichi in it because it would be them kind of teamed up together because they hate each other and because they'd have to work together to help Steven and the rest of the Crystal Gems fight like this corrupted gem. Then they both have to work together. It's just like them just going, I hate I hate you, you half human mutt. He goes like, half human mutt. All right, Yellow. You're lucky. We gotta go save the Crystal Gems and yours and Blue, because if we weren't, I would take them. I'd take those things as fighting words. I take them things as fighting words, little missy. He has the mask on during this because it's like, my regular powers ain't gonna cut it, and this thing's corrupted, so. Ugh. So yeah, he doesn't really use the mask all the time, but only when he feels like it's needed, he pulls it out. He's not like Stanley Ipkiss where he just like pulls it out because he needs it. He just like pulls it out when it's actually needed. So, like the episode just kind of goes with them trying to fight the corrupted gem, and they do their separate things and their separate plans, and it doesn't work. But only when they actually work together and use their powers together, they actually both find that's better with them working together, even though they constantly hate each other. Which kind of brings the whole thing about them kind of tolerating each other for, you know, kind of gives this message of them kind of tolerating each other, even both of them even if both parties hate each other, you can at least be civil around the people you care about, so you don't start no shit. So he's like, you go have fun with Blue. You go have fun with Blue like you normally do. I will go and see if there's any more corrupted gems around. Hmm. That seems that seems like a good idea. That seems like a good idea, Yellow. Yellow. I know you won't care either way it goes, but thanks. You didn't really have to. We didn't really have to team up, but you actually choked down your pride and actually decided to help. And you actually worked with me instead of being against me, and does that does mean right now we're cool until you inadvertently piss me off. What? And she goes, I wouldn't have it any other way. And yeah, that's kind of their little episode. I think Yellow would have an episode with Steven. Yeah, Yellow would have an episode with Steven too. Just kind of understanding Steven as his own person, and what that really means for him and Yellow. And I felt like that would be a good little episode. It'd be kind of nice because you would actually sort of see a kind of caring side of Yellow that you don't technically see. I mean, you see it with Blue, but you never saw it with Pink Diamond, with her and Pink Diamond, because she was always strict to her. But she admits that Pink Diamond Pink Diamond, you know, it's kind of her fault that Steven was. It's kind of her fault this whole thing kind of happened inadvertently. But Steven goes like, if you didn't do what you did, I probably would have never been born to begin with. And that's a fucked up way of saying it, but yeah, that's basically how it would kind of go. And they, and then she just she can also shrink down like Blue can, but I kind of wanted that to be kind of a secret. I didn't even mean to talk about the whole shrinking down with Blue. I just shoved it into part two. But yeah, she kind of learns that she kind of actually even talks to Ronaldo of all people. Like she's like you think that Yellow of all people with the shortest fuse wouldn't be able to tolerate Ronaldo, but it's actually kind of surprising she actually does. Listening to his talks about the Sneeple. Well, he talks about all this conspiracy stuff, and then he talks about the Sneeple, and then Yellow's eyes actually light up, and she goes, "Sneeple? How do you know? How do you know? How do you know? How do you know that?" And Ronaldo will spit his usual. Well, I've been finding out for many, 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 many years now that the Sneeple walk among us. And he also talks about H.E. and how scary he is, because whenever, like, I didn't really put this down, but whenever Ronaldo kind of is around H.E., he's kind of, you know, Teenage Bugsy's like looking at him going like, ugh. And Yellow just kind of goes like, he's not scary. I mean, he's kind of a fool, a clown, a court, a jester, if anything else. And then Ronaldo goes, he's not like that. He's not like that with me. He's truly scary. He actually cursed me. Cursed you? I didn't even know he was capable of such a thing. It's actually like a bull. He acts like, even though AG does know magic, he doesn't actually curse Ronaldo. He just makes him believe that he's cursed. Like, after the supposed curse, he goes, "Ooh, Ronaldo, you're cursed still. Ooh." And even Blue still goes like, "Why are you so harsh with that human?" Because Blue, I do not like him. I do not like him at all. Like, you have no idea the kind of stuff this man pulls. Trust me, during his whole Bloodstone shenanigans, I was like, ugh. I was like, Steven, let me punch him. Let me punch him. So he gets on your nerves. I take it. Yes, he does, Blue. A lot. But, yeah. And oh, yeah, Blue actually, like, okay, remember, this is if I was writing it. Not if I gave this to Cartoon Network, because most of the stuff you're about to hear would not be on Cartoon Network. I mean, it would probably be on Adult Swim if I really wanted it that way. But Blue's been actually reading up on human mating and actually sees some porn and just kind of like tries to imitate the stuff in the porn. And he's like, Blue, I mean, you don't really have to. I mean, not like I don't want it, but what if Yellow comes in? Oh, fuck it, I can't. Fuck it, I can't control myself. Again, like, whatever, kids. This is me making my own thing. So, yeah, there is it's kind of a sex scene, kinda. But mostly it'd just be cutawayed, and mostly most things would be implied. Actually, yeah, I'd probably cut out the other stuff because actually there was a lot of stuff. But if I wanted to, I'd have it kind of implied that they're doing it, and like Yellow actually hears what's going on in H's room, which I will talk about in a minute because he actually does make a room in Steven's house with magic, and I'll explain what his room is actually like in a minute. But he goes like, "What is?" She goes, "What is going on in here?" Uh, Nothing. But you should probably come back in a few minutes. You know what I'm. Uh, and Blue's like, "Why do I feel ashamed?" And that's what you feel when someone catches you in the act. If you understand what I mean, if you understand my meaning. And Yellow goes, "Were you trying to mate with her?" I was like, "Yeah," but then you had to freaking come in and ruin the mood. Jesus. But basically, yeah, it just becomes a big thing with like Yellow trying to fight. It comes right after the whole Yellow. It comes right after the whole of them working together episode, and it just comes immediately during it, like the other episode after that. And she just still kind of hates him for quote unquote defiling Blue in such a way. And it's funny. It's like really funny, and Steven doesn't appear in this episode simply because I mean, I don't know how Steven would react technically. I feel like he would react with kind of like shock. I don't think Greg ever gave him the talk. I mean, he is like 14 now, but I don't think he ever really got the talk from Greg. So yeah. So yeah. Um, Yellow kind of fights him after that night. He goes like, "You are the most degenerate half human mother ever seen." Like, once again, Yellow, those are fighting words. And Blue actually stop. Like they try to fight each other, but Blue like gets in the middle of them, and he's like, Blue. She gets in the middle of them. And she's like, "Stop it, Yellow! Stop, Bugsy, please." He's like, he looks at her face. He's like, "Oh, Blue, don't give me the face." Hi, fine, but she's gotta accept that we're a thing. Okay, she has to accept that we're a thing. And she's like, "I never will accept Blue to be with you." And I don't like you either, Yellow, but I gotta deal with you because you and Blue are like sisters to each other. That's the thing. So I gotta deal with you, and you don't have to like me, but you have to really understand. I'm, I make Blue happy at least. She walks off, and 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 Ag goes, on a scale of 1 to 10, are you mad at me? She goes like, no. I kind of figured I kind of figured it would happen one of these days. So he goes like, what? This has happened before? No, but I feel like it would have happened either way it went. Either way it would have went. Well, the night's he goes like, well, the night's still young, Blue. So what do you still want to do? What do you want to do? Because I figure because Kanzlers ain't really nocturnal, but he can stay up for a little bit longer than a regular, like than a human. So she goes like, well, would you tell me a little bit about yourself? He go, he goes like, sure, Blue. I'll say what you want to know. Like I told you about my mask, so I might as well tell you about the rest. And it just leads into an episode where AG basically tells Blue everything, basically everything. What else? What else? I think that's about it. But basically, it goes into H's backstory and how Team H was still kind of a thing, and how after Harima and Atsukumaru dying, everything kind of went into a downward spiral, and yeah, pretty much what happened what happened when he came to Beach City, which was which was after Jailbreak actually. But like the aftermath of it, like I think after like when Lapras actually fought for herself against Jasper instead of like taking her down to the ocean. Um, but yeah, that's what happened. And like I said, part 3, whenever I'm done with that, is going to be all about the third part, which will have Ben 10 and Danny Phantom, because I want to expand the Teenage Universe, and the Steven Universe part was a part of what I wanted to do. Because it was something I was mulling over in my head for the longest time, and I feel like, oh yeah, I forgot to talk about Amethyst, but mostly Amethyst and AG had this kind of cool friendship where they just kind of eat like a whole bunch of stuff, and they just stood around when he's not training Steven. Or actually, Evans kind of gets jealous of Blue, but I think I should save that for another time. But basically, basically, I'll detail it in probably the next one after I talk about the big threat, which will probably not surprise you, because let's just say a certain member from Ben 10 will come back. A certain villain from Ben 10, a certain villain from Danny Phantom will return, and maybe, just maybe, we'll bring we'll bring one of we'll bring one of the Team H enemies of Team H Bugsy, the nefarious Doc, the nefarious Dr. Cube. Yeah, Dr. Cube makes an appearance because he actually is the enemy of Team H Bugsy. It was actually going to be Dr. Insano, but fuck that. I'm not really gonna. I don't want to involve Spoonie in anything, even if it's just for fiction stuff. Do not like that guy. But I shall see you later. This is just an extra. Because when I return next time, we will go into an arc I would like to call. And yes, White Diamond doesn't make an appearance yet. Because I'll do another extra explaining that one. But basically, yeah, she's kind of preoccupied at the moment, so she doesn't really see getting Steven and the others as a thing right now. So yeah, I will see you all later. I am Bugsy, I'm Bugsy No Name, and I will catch you all. I'll catch you all on the flip side, and remember, keep it chaotic.